Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world.
So you would expect a false ministry like the Watchtower to die right after the clear evidence of false prophecies and the death of false prophet Charles Taze Russell. But not quite, you see. The devil enjoyed what he started with Charles Taze Russell's false theology of a non-literal eternal hellfire. But it was time for another false prophet to be used in the Watchtower Society to continue to lie to the world. And his name was Joseph Rutherford. So Joseph Rutherford was slightly different to Charles Taze Russell. Joseph Rutherford came into the picture to add and bring more heresies in the Watchtower Society. But we'll get to that a little later in this channel. For now, we will briefly focus on some more failed prophecies from the Watchtower. So by the year 1920, Rutherford began preaching, cunningly using his own creative ways to bring lies, using the Bible, predicting events. And I strongly believe that he did this in order to attract new listeners to the Watchtower Society and to grow in numbers. He even published a book in 1920 titled "Millions Now Living Will Never Die." And here's one of his quotes in page 88. "The chief thing to be restored is the human race to life. And since other scriptures definitely fix the fact that there will be a resurrection of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and other faithful ones of old, and that these will have the first favor, we may expect 1925 to witness the return of these faithful men of Israel from the condition of death, being resurrected and fully restored to perfect humanity and made the visible, legal representatives of the new order of things on earth." Wow. So one of the main things we can point out is that Rutherford declared the year 1925 would take place with a visible resurrection, meaning coming back to life, with Bible characters here on earth on 1925. And get this, for a development of a new world order to take place here on earth. And if you ask me, that sounds like a spirit of an antichrist with this new world order he's promoting. And on page 89, you can pause so you can read it. He confirms the same old thing concerning this event to take place in 1925 with the Apostle Paul and others mentioned from the book of Hebrews chapter 11 to take place here on earth in 1925. Now, if in case you have any doubts of the Watchtower fully supporting Joseph Rutherford's failed predictions of 1925, well, you should see that they published in 1917 the very same topic as Rutherford events of 1925 that he was really preaching on these false prophecies. So this makes the entire Watchtower a Deuteronomy 18:22, a false ministry, as well as their false prophet Joseph Rutherford. Now, what can we really say about the Watchtower and their false prophets? Was the Watchtower and Rutherford hallucinating? I don't know, on drugs or something? Well, I can honestly see that they were more like possessed by many devils. Because how could people like Joseph Rutherford declare such lies to others using God's word to manipulate? I mean, think about it. How can you actually, use God's word and lie about everything? Well, another way you can also see it's probably because the Watchtower teaches a non-literal consequence to an eternal hellfire. But the fact is that little do they know of the wrath of God which is to come to them into anyone who openly teaches and distorts God's word for filth's greed and gain.